Chapter 84. 5 Demons Attack. Golden Kingdom. Beyondjin City. Gao Xianzi was sitting in the main hall of the city lord's mansion, looking at a war report from the 4 directions. Next to him, some subordinates were respectfully busy at the side. It seems to look long. Gao Xianzi slightly rested, drank a cup of tea, looked at the 4 sides of a group of clerks. At this moment, one of the old clerks looked at Gao Xianzi. Marshal, now that our army is in high morale, why don't we take advantage of the victory? The purpose of our Gufu army is to collect the world, not fight it. A big victory in the first battle to thwart its prestige and to shock the 4 countries with its momentum can be enough. After all, our army is limited in numbers, so it is not advisable to be greedy, or else we will fall deep into the quagmire, so as to fail in our endeavors. Gao Xianzi explained. Yes. Moreover, in the military camp, it is also still unstable. Many generals are still not convinced. Right. Gao Xianzi looked towards the old scribe. Indeed, they are different from us. They were hastily appointed and deployed for the expedition. We have followed the marshal before. We have all followed 4 decades. Originally, when the marshal joined the Immortal sect, we thought we would never see the marshal again, but we didn't expect the marshal to return. The old clerk laughed. Immortal sect, it's just cultivating immortality. You guys followed me in the past. This time I came back to bring you with me to cultivate immortality. Gao Xianzi laughed. Who are you? The group of clerks and officials who were busy all stopped everything they were doing and raised their heads. Marshal, what did you say? Could it be that Mr. Gu he is preparing? The old clerk from earlier was surprised. There is no need to make a fuss. Fu is preparing to establish a state. That is his intention, and Mr. Fu is open-minded and generous. One man can win the day. You guys work hard. You will have your own opportunities. The pills that immortals eat and the techniques they cultivate will soon be given in the future. How much you get, it all depends on your efforts, Gao Xianzi faintly said. Really? I also have a chance, the old scribe said excitedly. The 5 great treasurers in charge of the 5 countries by the house master should have all received the elixir sent by the house master by now, although they cannot prolong their lives. But, at least, they can be free from all diseases and enhance their cultivation. In the future, they will be rewarded for their achievements, Gao Xianzi explained. The crowd of clerks looked shocked. This news, you can spread it out, and also let those who are still unconvinced know that the path pointed out by the prefectural lord is the most correct path. And those who still have small minds, collect their minds, Gao Xianzi said in a deep voice. Yes, don't worry, Marshal. We will definitely endeavor to make our mark. The crowd was instantly excited. The new recruits are a mixed bag. I just took over not long ago. You guys send people to give me detailed records of the military discipline of the military in all places. Those who have damaged the reputation of my Gufu will be dealt with by military law, Gao Xianzi said in a deep voice. Yes, one of the officials in charge of supervision answered. Tiger Dungeon Pass, Ancient Mansion, in the Sky Surge Tower. Gu Hai sat in front of his desk, looking at the war reports from the 4 directions. Gu Qin accompanied him around. Righteous Father, news has come from the Kai Kingdom. The king of the Kai Kingdom is pleading to be recruited to surrender. I hope Father will treat him generously, Gu Qin solemnly said. Kai Kingdom, the kingdom that used to be affiliated with Songjia Zong, right? It seems that it was scared by me and actually chose to beckon surrender without hesitation. Gu Hai stopped watching the battle reports and held up a cup of tea and laughed. Righteous Father, what do you say? Give 100 miles of fiefdom, reward the Baron Bar, his treasury property, can keep 1% for himself. Gu Hai promises his royal family safety, and in the future for my people, the premises. Cooperate well with my Gufu to accept Kaigua completely, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Yes. In addition, Tang Boss, Unli Boss sent the news. Jin Kingdom royal family, Lu Kingdom royal family, seems to be almost unable to top it. There is a tendency to be recruited, Gukin solemnly said. King of Jin, King of Lu. Heh, let the two pomisters put some pressure on them. I don't want to drag it out for too long. And on the other hand, let Gao Xianzi knock the mountain down to give the King of Jin and the King of Lu a bit of a lesson, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Yes, I'll send a message later. Righteous father. The only one resisting right now is the kingdom of Zhao, which has the peony sect behind it. And now the tone is resolute. Gukin was worried. Zhao. Let's use Zhao to give Gao Xianzi practice. After Jin and Lu are willing to be recruited, Gao Xianzi's army will charge Zhao with all its might, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Yes, inform Gao Xianzi that he should tighten his military discipline and not disturb the people. From now on, this world will be my Gu Fu's people, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Don't worry, righteous father. Before Gao Xianzi left, I also explained it once. Gukin nodded his head and responded. Righteous father, when are you going to establish a state? Gukin said with a hint of anticipation. Wait a little longer. It's not time yet. Gu Hai shook his head and said. Oh, Gukin nodded blankly. On Chen Chanshan's side, how's the recruitment going? Recruited 50 cultivators who are willing to join my ancient mansion. However, they are all casual cultivators at the early stage of the innate realm. Cultivators who are having a hard time surviving in the sea of 1,000 islands. My ancient mansion has the salary spirit stones. It's just that they are looking for a place to settle down. It's not bad to have a start. Gu Hai sipped his tea and laughed. Righteous father doesn't care about the peony sect. Peony sect, hiding a dragon vein. It's been spreading in all directions for a while now. More and more cultivators are going there. So what's the point of my concern? Settling down and collecting this mortal region first is the right way to go. Gu Hai shook his head and said. All right. Gukin smiled bitterly. At the same time, far outside the ancient mansion, on top of a mountain peak, Gao Liu Sheng of the Divine Mechanism Battalion with 5 men wearing bucket hats stood on top of the mountain peak, looking together at the surroundings of the ancient mansion that was shrouded in clouds. 28 heaven and earth vertical and horizontal formation. One of the men in bucket hats said in a deep voice. Gao Liu Sheng, you don't want us to break into the formation and go in to assassinate Gu Hai, do you? The East Sea Thief King, Luo Chanch, was defeated under this great formation in the past, and although we're all at the Yuanying realm, we've all just reached it. So if you're asking us to break into the formation, aren't you asking us to send ourselves to our deaths? The treasures you promised do make our hearts flutter, but that also requires a life to flutter. The 5 bucket-hatted men towards Gao Liu Sheng. 5 demon kings. Beast cultivation is arduous. I'm sure you all know better than I do. How hard is it to cultivate to the Yuanying realm without magic treasures? What goes around comes around. These 5 treasures of mine, all of them were given by the campmaster. This matter does have risks, but if there were no risks, this good thing wouldn't have landed on your heads, wouldn't it? Gao Liu Sheng laughed. The 5 men in bucket hats were silent for a while. Following that, one of them shook his head and said, but the 28 heaven and earth vertical formation, we indeed don't dare to touch it lightly. Gu Hai is inside. If you guys don't go and assassinate, you won't get this treasure of mine, Gao Liu Sheng said in a deep voice. The 5 demon kings were silent for a while. Of course, to deal with Gu Hai, it may not be necessary to enter the formation, isn't it? Gao Liu Sheng laughed. Oh, you can lure Gu Hai out. Gu Hai is only an innate realm. You 5 demon kings are all at the Yuanying realm. You can all take shape. Can't you still deal with him? Gao Liu Sheng laughed. The 5 demon kings looked at each other. In the middle of the ancient mansion, while Gu Hai was talking to Gu Qin, a sudden hissing sound came. Ah, demons, demons, demons are eating people. Master, help. Sinful beast, dare to come to the ancient mansion to cause trouble. Release the arrows. The outside world was in steep chaos. A roaring sound came from it. Gu Hai's eyes narrowed as he got up and stepped to the entrance of the heaven-rushing tower. The punching tower was the source of the 28 heaven and earth vertical and horizontal grand formation. Gu Hai stood here, but was able to see everything inside and outside the grand formation. However, he saw that on top of the town outside the ancient mansion, it was in chaos at the moment. As Chen Chongchen and Shangwen Scar led a group of villains, each grasping their swords and knives, and were dealing with the 5 behemoths that had suddenly appeared. To giant leopards, to giant wolves, and a giant bear, all 10 feet tall. A supreme ferocious aura blossomed around them. Rolling air blasts emanated from the 5 great demons, forming a storm in general, and the people outside the town were instantly overturned by the storm on the ground. Roar! The 5-headed great demon blasted the buildings outside the town, opened its mouth and sucked. Immediately some people were sucked into their mouths, and after 2 painful struggles, they were chewed and swallowed. Release arrows, release arrows. Chen Chongchen was in the middle of his command in shock and anger. The crowd of villains quickly released astral arrows, but they were blocked by the astral shield around the 5-headed ferocious beast. Yuan Yung realm. Gu Hai's face sank. Roar, roar. The 5-headed ferocious beast pounced on the crowd of villains amidst its roar. The crowd of villains quickly scattered in all directions and fled away, while quickly firing arrows in coordination. However, the 5-headed ferocious beasts were too fierce, under the powerful destructive force. The town was already half destroyed in the blink of an eye, and a large number of people suffered, amongst the terrified cries. Sinful beasts! Gu Hai let out a steep and furious cry. Transmitted through the large formation, Gu Hai's voice was like heavenly thunder. Master, Master, help! The people in the surroundings ran towards the large formation in fear. The 5 great ferocious beasts, however, as if they were deliberately avoiding the great formation, intercepted the people and continued in the midst of the brutal killings. Righteous Father, this great demon, is he specifically coming at you? He's trying to trick you out of the formation. Gu Qin was worried. Gu Qin, you will preside over the grand formation to cooperate with me, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Righteous Father, you can't go out, Gu Qin worriedly said. Boom! Gu Hai took a step and instantly jumped out of the grand formation. As he jumped out, a bloody blade steeply appeared in Gu Hai's hand. A bloody force instantly filled his entire body. Roar! Gu Hai came out. Ha ha ha! The 5 ferocious beasts burst into laughter, stopped devouring the people, and pounced towards Gu Hai with their mouths open. In their opinion, Gu Hai was only at the innate realm. Even if he was strong, he was still limited in strength, right? Roar! A leopard demon rushed at the forefront, stamping its feet. With a ferocious aura, it was about to pounce on Gu Hai. Seek death! Gu Hai's eyes glared as the blood knife in his hand slashed away. Boom! The blood saber chopped out, waving out like a blood rainbow. Half of the sky was instantly dyed red. The pouncing leopard demon's entire body steeply stood up in sweat, but it was already too late. The leopard demon's claw had already grabbed. Boom! With a loud bang, endless blood light pierced everyone's eyes for an instant, and an unbelievable scene occurred. However, the tiny Gu Hai was not slapped to death. Instead, the huge leopard demon was chopped away. The protective astral shield crumbled. A wound opened up from the chest, and a large amount of blood burst out. Impossible! The leopard demon flying in midair and spitting out blood looked at Gu Hai in horror. What? The other 3 great demons also stumbled on their feet and looked at Gu Hai in surprise. Gu Hai grabbed the blood knife and landed on the ground, his body covered in blood red, reflected by the bloodlight. Surrounded by gusts of blood aura, as if he was a demon that crawled out of a blood prison, hideous and incomparable.